Hola, hola, hola. Welcome back to the Influential Life. I'm your host, Shadana Miranda. On the Influential Life, we encourage and inspire women to live a life of passion and purpose so that they experience a sense of self-fulfillment. So we are in our series of decluttering your life and preparing for a new year. As we close out 2020 and we go into 2021, we want to start a new year with a fresh mind and new goals and everything new. And so in our last episode, we talked about designing a vision that you want for your life. But in this series, in this episode, we will be talking about how you can protect your brand. And so, of course, I'm not an expert in this stuff. But I do have an expert with me. I like to surround myself with experts. So I brought in attorney Shakita Davis, and she's going to be talking to us about protecting your brand. How are you, Attorney Davis?
I'm doing great. How are you doing today?
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Would you like to tell our viewers just a little bit about yourself? Like, we know you're an attorney, but it's different specialties, like where you're from. And
okay,
what you
awesome.
do.
Yes, hi everyone. I am from Sharonton, Louisiana. My practice areas are business, intellectual property, and real estate law. And so I love educating entrepreneurs and other creatives just about protecting their brand. So thank you for the opportunity.
Oh, no problem. So see her if you're trying to protect your brand. Okay, so protecting your brand, what does that mean? Could you give us an example?
Definitely. So there's different ways to protect your intellectual property as being a business owner or an entrepreneur. But protecting your brand can involve 4 major types of intellectual property protection. Trademark, copyright, patent, and trade dress are all ways that you can protect your intellectual property. So those are the major ones.
Okay, trademark, patent, and what else did you say?
Copyright.
And copyright. So we've heard of these things. I'm a business owner, so I'm just learning about this. But if someone who tell me, oh, you need to get a trademark for your business, you need to get a patent, I wouldn't know what that means. So why does someone need a trademark for their business or a patent or a copyright?
Well, someone would need a trademark for their business because you want to protect your brand or your logo or your design, your motto. If you're actually in the marketplace and you're going to be selling something, you don't want a competitor or someone to be able to go out into the marketplace and either duplicate your brand and not have the same quality, or also just take and cause consumer confusion. So you want to be able to have your trademark protected with the USPTO and actually registered. So
that makes sense, because we know people do steal brands, so definitely get your brand protected.
Yes, like the knockoff purses, like
Oh, like the Gucci and the Fendi and the knockoff you can get. Okay, that makes a lot of
not
sense.
Gucci, Bucci.
But Gucci, okay. I like that. And it's not, what is it? I'm going to think of it. Not chinchilla, but chinkilla. That's what they call it. Okay. So, we talked about protecting your brand if you have a business. So can someone without a business protect their brand, maybe their personal brand? Is that possible?
So absolutely. So there's not a requirement with when you are trying to get a trademark or protect your intellectual property of you to actually be incorporated as a business. It just requires you to be in commerce. So you want to be actually making money off of it, or it's going to be hard to actually get a trademark approved by the USPTO.
Oh, okay. And can you tell us what the USPTO stand for?
Absolutely. So it's the United States Patent and Trademark Office. So it's just an acronym.
Okay, thank you. Because attorney term, we don't know what that means. So that's like, girl, you got to spell that out. And I'm just learning. So, okay. So somebody who wants to protect their brand, what are the first steps? Could you at least give the top 3?
So, yeah, absolutely. So number one, you want to make sure when you create it, you don't just publish it, so that's before it's in the marketplace. I think that you can make sure that you've grabbed your intellectual property, your social media handles, off of the major sites like Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube now, right?
Oh, yeah,
Because
YouTube.
YouTube is getting very popular with social media as publishing video. So you want to make sure that you do that. I would also grab your domain name. So sometimes people have to end up buying the brands back because you have companies that will go out and buy the brand, as you become more public. So that's something that you definitely want to do. And then definitely a copyright or a trademark as necessary. And one of the things, I know you said 3, so can I sneak one
Oh,
more
no,
in?
go ahead and
Okay.
sneak that. Yeah, the more the better.
So the fourth way is by contract. So if you have people that you're working with, getting non-disclosures and non-compete agreements, those are all ways to protect your brand.
Okay, so we know that, or some people may not know that, trademarking your brand and getting patents can be a little bit more costly, right?
Absolutely. So your patent is going to be the most expensive process to go through, even with the fees as well as attorney's fees, because it's going to be very difficult to go through that process as being a person we call it like pro se, so that's unrepresented. But a trademark, there's going to be an attorney on the other side that's reviewing your application. So you do want to make sure you have an attorney that's representing you, because the trademark office is not going to refund your fees back if you do it wrong or if you have to make a change. And it's very limited changes that you can make. So you want to make sure that those two are, you get a professional to do them. But yes, those are 2 of the more expensive ones.
Okay, I want to say 2 things. You talked about, getting an attorney for your trademark because you won't get refunded those fees. And so when I first got started with my business, I got a copyright. And so apparently I did it by myself. I didn't do it right. I was trying to get my name or my logo or something copyrighted. But after about 6 weeks of me going through the process and paying the application fee, they said it wasn't accepted. I didn't do it right. And they didn't refund me my money. So I was like, okay. So I had to take that as a loss. So that's why that made me remember that. And also, like I mentioned before, like people who are just getting started and they may not have the money right now to pay an attorney, like what would you suggest that they do, or what are the first things that they should do to get started with less money? Does that make sense?
Yeah, so I definitely would say it's probably not as expensive as people think it is. So you definitely want to put some savings on the side for a legal budget. Just because if you're investing in a brand, then you want to make sure that it's protected. You don't want to build up a brand.
That's true.
And it just falls lower and lower on the priority list. And then it's happened to some of my clients where somebody's popped up with a similar brand and they've either had to rebrand totally or they've had to fight, which is way more expensive than protecting it at the beginning. So I think putting aside a budget and maybe saving, but also just not publishing everything. I think that we're in the age of social media where people come up with an idea and they want to immediately publish it the next day. So you have to guard those things that are really, really instrumental in your business. I think before you can afford to protect it, I would not immediately publish it. So keeping it a secret is going to be one of your protections. Also, contracts.
Okay.
So if you're going to disclose it to somebody or you're disclosing it to a marketer or a designer, I think defining the scope with a contract, which is going to be more cheaper than a trademark or a patent process. I think that those are ways that you can do it at the beginning. But I'm always going to recommend that people, if you're building a brand and you want to sell something to someone, it's going to require you investing and protecting it.
Okay, so 2 things that you said I like that you talked about. You talked about contracts and disclosures. Because I recently hired an assistant about 3 months ago, And one thing I put in place was an NDA, a non-disclosure agreement, because she has access to a lot of my personal stuff, like my social media, passwords to all my accounts, and I felt comfortable giving her that. But she may go and work for my competitor or somebody like me and just disclose all of my information. So that's something that I'm glad I got that in place. Okay, and something else you talked about with protecting your brand.
Being quiet.
Being quiet, yes, being quiet, and that can be hard sometimes.
Yes, it can.
Especially like if you're talking to a friend or a family member, you're at a networking event, you want to tell people what you do, and when you go to a networking event, the first thing they ask you, so what do you do? That's what they ask you. So what do you do for a living? So that can be tough to say, oh, I'm a designer, I'm a talk show host, or I'm this, and this is, I have the influential life. So that can be tough, like keeping it. So how long would you suggest like keeping it on a hush-hush until you have like everything in place?
Yeah, absolutely. While you're working on it, you don't have to broadcast something that you're in the process of doing. I can't tell you how many clients have come to me where they're pitching the idea, they haven't done a non-disclosure, and then the person that they've pitched it to has run with that idea, or somebody comes up with something similar. So I think that being able to just keep it within your team until it's at a place where you want to release it to the public is very important. I know that people will definitely have to make money with your business, but like I said, you want to make sure that you're protecting it at the onset. So definitely being quiet and deciding what things you're going to disclose and what things you're going to keep close to the vest until it's time to release it. Okay,
you're saying until it's time to release it. Just one more question. So what should you do before you feel comfortable, you're comfortable talking about your brand? Should you make sure you have your domains registered, or you get a trademark, you get a patent before you can start telling people, okay, I'm the director of the Influential Life, I'm the CEO of this company? Like, what are the top things that you need before you feel comfortable releasing it to the public?
I just think you want to make sure it's protected, especially, so like I said, just going back to making sure you have your agreements in place so you can protect it with contracts, trademarks, and copyrights. I'm going to go to that. And if it's a unique design or invention, then that's when we start talking about patents. But definitely the copyright, that's one of the most affordable ways to protect your brand.
It is affordable.
And then the trademarks, you're going to invest a little more money up front, but trademarks are perpetual. As long as you're in business, your trademark is going to be valuable. So
how long does a trademark last?
It's perpetual. It does not have an end. As long as you're in commerce
and
you renew it,
okay,
you're going to be able to have your trademark in existence. Yes.
Oh, that's good to know. That's good to know.
Now, copyrights do have an end. So it's different for commercial and individuals, but trademarks are perpetual, which is really awesome.
That's really awesome. So it's worth the investment. And so how soon should someone seek out an attorney into their business?
I think when you start, so I always recommend 3 professionals to have on your team, and I think that is an attorney. I think that you should also have an accountant or a CPA, and then you want to also have a financial advisor. And I say, it's not to say that the other people like, HR or, assistants are not important, but I think that those are key business professionals to have on your team, because your attorney is going to tell you what you need to do to protect your brand. It's going to help you with contracts if you're dealing with a business attorney. Your CPA and your accountant is going to help you track whatever is going on and file your taxes. And then the third person, your financial advisor, is going to show and teach you how to invest once you're making the money, or how to reinvest.
So that's good. That's good to know. And it seemed like that's something you should definitely include in your business up front. I know the first time I started a business, I had a lot of money saved up and I also had some investment. But one thing I didn't do is I didn't start protecting my brand in the beginning. And I actually learned from that. And so the second time around when I started my business, I started doing that up front, like seeking out an attorney and trying to get a patent and a copyright and all of that. So this has been a wonderful conversation, Attorney Davis. So if someone want to get in contact with you, how can they find you?
So we're on all the social media platforms. The S. Davis Law Group is our handles, and also my website, www.theSDavisLawGroup.com. And then, so our phone numbers and everything are listed publicly, but definitely contact us on social media and via our website. That's the quickest ways to get in contact with us.
Okay, so if you're ready to build that multi-million-dollar brand, make sure you get in contact with Attorney Davis. She's the first person you need to see, because you want to protect your brand before another company try to come and take it. And so thank you for tuning in with us. Attorney Davis, thank you for coming on. This has been wonderful, and make sure you tune in next week to The Influential Life, because we are preparing you to live the life that you want and live out your dreams. And we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Hey there, thank you for tuning in on my episode of How to Protect Your Brand. This is part 2 of a 4-part series on decluttering your life and preparing for a new year. As you know, we've entered into a new year, 2021, and we all have a brand to protect. Whether you're a business owner or protecting your personal brand, we can all learn a thing or two. However, if you are a new business owner and you're just getting started, I would like to dive just a little bit deeper with you about different steps that you can take to get your business off of the ground. Go ahead and check out this pre-recorded episode I have coming up next. Stay tuned. I am currently a fashion designer and stylist in Houston, Texas, and I actually launched my first clothing line last year. Now, when I launched the clothing line, I did not have a background in fashion or any type of degree in fashion. I had a vision, I stepped out on faith, and I did it. Of course, I had a lot of setbacks, a lot of trial and error along the way, but I learned from my mistakes. And so now I can sit here and teach you how to not make any of those mistakes. But before we dive into how to launch the clothing line and the steps to do it, I have to teach you the business aspect of it, because if you're not a business-minded person already, you have to become one. So today, I'm going to teach you 3 basic steps on how to get started with your business aspect before you start launching your clothing line. First tip, come up with a name for your business. You want to establish a name that's going to be catchy, a name that resonates with you, and a name that you're going to love, and something that you'll enjoy and people will love you and know you as. Tip number 2, after you've established your name, you want to register your name with the county clerk's office. You will register your name as a DBA, which is also known as doing business as. Now you want to register your name so that people know that that's the name you are operating under, and also that no one comes and steal your name and try to do business under that name. Now the cost to register your name will be in between maybe $10 to $15, $20 at the most. It's very inexpensive. So you want to make sure you register your name with your county clerk's office. Tip number 3. After you register your name, you want to come up with a logo for your brand. Your logo will be your trademark for your business. Your logo is what people will remember you by. In order to create your logo, you can actually save money and do it yourself. You can create a logo through Microsoft Word or Adobe Illustrator. Now, Adobe Illustrator is a very complicated software. So if you're not able and talented to use Adobe Illustrator, you might want to find a friend who's a web designer or who can use Adobe Illustrator and create a logo for you. If that doesn't work, you can actually go to a site called Fiverr.com. I'll actually put the link below. Fiverr.com, Fiverr.com. And there's someone on there that can help you create your logo starting at just $5. So you definitely want to look into that. Today, I'll be giving you 3 more tips to help you get your business started. So let's dive in. Tip number 1, you want to write a business plan for your business. A business plan is a very crucial component. Your business plan will help you write out your goals. It will help you execute those goals and stay in line with everything that's going on for your business. So you definitely will need a business plan. Tip number 2, you want to access capital for your business. One way to access capital will be through your personal savings account. Now, we don't don't all have a personal savings account to get some capital from. So if you don't have a personal savings account, you can actually take that business plan that you've written, take it to the bank and try to access a loan for your business. The bank doesn't always give you money. It's very hard to get money from a bank, as you have to meet so many different qualifications, like have good credit, you have to have assets, you have to have this, you have to have that. It's a lot to try to get funded from a bank, so don't necessarily depend on getting money from the bank. Another way to get money for your business would be through personal investors and angel investors, and you can do that with the business plan that you have. You can allow them to read your business, and if your business plan, and if they believe in your vision, they'll want to donate. Now, they're not as dependable as well. So one other way to get some money from your business would be through outside sources, and that would be crowdfunding. You can go through websites like Kickstarter.com, GoFundMe.com, and those websites allow random people that's on the internet or that search those sites to read about your story, why you need the money, and they just make a donation. These are very common sites, so I'm sure some of you have heard of it, but if you haven't, I'll definitely provide the links to that below. Tip number 3, you want to determine the legal structure for your business. It's important to see what entity your business will fit under, whether that would be a limited liability corporation, which is also an LLC, whether that'll be a sole proprietor, an S Corp, or an actual corporation. Now, when determining the legal structure of your business, I do suggest that you speak to an attorney, because they'll be able to assist you a little bit better. Or if you don't speak to an attorney, you can actually speak to someone who knows about different legal structures, or someone who's actually just already started their business or have been in business for a very long time. They can give you more information. Or you can just get on Google. You have to do extensive research, but do your research and you'll definitely see what entity your business can fit under, and you'll definitely want to make that next step. Tip number 1, you want to register your business for local and state taxes. With that, you'll be able to obtain a tax ID, or also known as an EIN, an employee identification number. You need that number to file taxes. Even if you're not making money in your business, you have to report to the government what you're making, whether it's $0, $500, $1,000, $1 million. You have to report your taxes. In order to do that, you need to get an EIN number, and you do that through irs.gov. So I'll actually provide that link. You'll also need an EIN number when you want to go and open up a bank account. You'll need an EIN number to open up your business bank account. So make sure you do that soon. Tip number 2, if you are a minority or a female, or you have some type of disadvantage, like you may be a veteran, you want to register your business as a minority-owned business, a woman-owned business, a veteran-owned business, because it's a lot of perks in doing it. You are able to get grants. It's easier for you to get money. It's easier for you to get a lot of stuff when you have a disadvantage. So it actually can be an advantage towards you and your business. So I'll provide some links below for that, to give you some websites on where you can go to register if you are a female, if you are a minority, if you are a veteran, to help you get that started. Tip number 3, you want to find a mentor. Finding a mentor is very important. You'll need somebody to help guide you along the process. It's always good to find a mentor in your field. So if you're in the fashion industry, maybe try to find like a boutique owner or a fashion designer or a stylist in your area. And one way to do that is to email them, DM them, of course, direct message them through LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, whoever you can find, someone that you admire, someone, they may not necessarily have a large following, but they have a good following. They've been in business for a while, and it's somebody you look up to, and it's somebody you think can help you out. So you definitely want to reach out to those people. Now, they may not necessarily reach back to you because they may be busy and they may get so many different requests. So you just make a list of different people, 10 to 20 people that you want to reach out to. Make sure you email those people, direct message those people through social media accounts, or you can get with family members or friends and see if they have referrals, someone that they can refer you to that can actually mentor you. You really need a mentor when you're going through the process of starting a business, any type of business. You don't necessarily have to find someone in your field. You can find just another mentor who's in business. They may not necessarily have to be in a fashion industry, but just find a mentor to help guide you along the way. Also, some other resources include SCORE and the Small Business Development Center. Those are government entities through the Small Business Administration. So those two, SCORE and Small Business Development Center, they provide free mentoring and free resources to small business owners, and everything is free. I remember when I first started a business, I actually started seeking counseling through the Small Business Development Center and SCORE as well. And a lot of times they have different mentors that may be in your field. So you definitely can fill out a survey online, let them know what industry you're in, and they can partner you up with a mentor that may be in your field. So I'll definitely provide those links below to SCORE and the Small Business Development Center. They're usually in major cities. So if you're in like a small town, like in a rural area within your state, you may have to go to a main city to seek those services. They're usually in larger cities. But if not, you can still find a mentor within your area. So I'll definitely provide some links to that below on how to help you get a mentor. That's all the tips that I have for you today, guys. For sponsorship opportunities or opportunities about how you can be a part of the show, please send an email to info@influentialpetite.com. That's info@influentialpetite.com. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.